Swami Narsimhananda is a monk of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission founded by Swami Vivekananda in 1897 and is presently the secretary of the Ramakrishna Mission Sevashram, Kozhikode, Kerala. He runs a higher secondary school, a kindergarten, and a polyclinic. He is a former editor of the Prabuddha Bharata, an English monthly journal of the humanities and social sciences started by Swami Vivekananda in 1896. He has edited a volume of Swami Vivekananda's teachings titled Vivekananda Reader. He specializes in Indian studies, Indian philosophy, sociology of religion, philosophy of religion, and religious studies. He is a member of the International Interdisciplinary and Interreligious Research Group on Conscious Studies, UNESCO Chair in Bioethics and Human Rights, Pontifical Athenaeum, Regina Apostolorum, Roma, Italy. He is editor and executive council member of HNet Humanities and Social Sciences Online. He is also a member of the editorial board of American Academy of Religions online publication Reading Religion. He has publications in Hindi, English, Sanskrit, Malayalam, Bengali, and Tamil.
Why?
Namaste. A very good evening to all of you. The topic today is taken from the 33rd Sutra of the first chapter of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And this sutra gives a roadmap to living a peaceful life. It says, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha Nam, Sukha Dukkha Punya Apunya Vishayanam, Bhavana Taha, Chitta Prasadanam. The idea is a person should develop a kind of attitude which would help a person to be not in difference with other people, in distinction with other people, but to be in identity with other people, to be able to be feeling the same what the other people feel. We have mental disturbances when we are unable to meet with the other people on their level, when we are unable to bear what other people say to us or how they behave. And in this sutra, Maharshi Patanjali says, Maitri. So a person who is in sukha or happiness, one should develop a feeling of friendliness. We should have feeling of friendliness. The idea being, normally it is possible that if someone is happy and if at that moment we are not happy, then we might be jealous of the other person. We might be envious of the other person. We might also be annoyed that while I am unhappy, that other person is happy. So Maharshi Patanjali says that it is better to develop a feeling of friendship, friendliness, Maitri, so that we don't feel that this person's happiness is something strange. We also feel happy. And Swami Vivekananda understands this sutra in a different light. He says that we should have what in Sanskrit is called Saha Anubhuti. We should have feelings as the other people have. We should feel with the other. And that, if that is what we do, then when others are happy, we will be happy. When others are suffering, then when they have dukkha, then we will have karuna. Karuna, not just sympathy, but the correct translation of the word karuna would be empathy. We would feel the misery. So it will be sahanubhuti. We will feel what the other person feels. So we would not be insensitive. Most of the problems faced by people in today's society is because people are insensitive to the different temperaments and different needs and different sensibilities which different people belonging to different linguistic cultures, nationalities, different ethnic boundaries, different financial status, all these differences have different kind of people and also different kind of sensibilities. Once we try to, or when we can appreciate these differences, then it becomes easier for us to coexist or live or flourish with the other person. So karuna, empathy of the empathetic of the suffering which the other person has. And mudita, a person should be happy or should be drawn towards people who are virtuous. Punya, people who are virtuous. So people who have the qualities which we need to imbibe in ourselves, we need to be having their company. We should have a pleasant attitude towards these people. And so that will lead us to their company. Having good company, we would also eventually inculcate those virtues. And so we will also get rid of bad qualities, bad habits, and bad kind of wrong negative attitudes. So that is where karuna comes in. And the final and very important message of this sutra is upeksha. Often we are faced with people whom we know are positively harmful. They are negative people and they spread this negativity around them. How to deal with this type of people? That is a big question we have, and it's a big problem. And this negativity could also come in our mind. We could be facing some problems, we could be facing some failures, and these negative thoughts could come into our mind. So how do we face them? And then again we have this solution, upeksha means indifference. Indifference means do not give attention to that. Indifference, be indifferent to it. So upeksha, to what? Apunya, people who are positively bad, wicked people. VICE, wise people. So we need to be indifferent to them. All bad qualities, we need to be indifferent to them. All bad, negative situations which take us away from peace of mind, situations which make our minds turbulent, we should be indifferent to them. So we should not be embroiled in the situation. We should not get involved in the situation. We should be away from them. We should be indifferent to them. We should insulate ourselves, protect ourselves from such negative scenario, negative influences, and that is upeksha. This indifference is very important. It is like insulation of an electric wire. Interestingly, in our brain also, there is a sheath, a covering for every nerve so that no short circuit takes place. Similarly, if we could have a system of indifference, a system which supports our emotional self, supports our feelings, supports our psychological self, it does not allow us to be hurt. Just like a warrior will have some guard over the chest, etc. In modern times, just like a person who may be in the armed forces or some other forces of security, might wear a bulletproof jacket. Similarly, we should have this upeksha indifference, or to put it in a colloquial expression, having a thick skin. It helps because we are insulated by the small tidbits of injury, hurt, which we get. And we are bound to get them because the world is ruthless and it will give us hurts. But if we insulate ourselves, and how do we insulate ourselves? We have the other three qualities, that is Maitri, Karuna, and Mudita. So, Maitri, friendship with people who have a pleasurable disposition, who are enjoying things, and then Karuna, empathy, feeling with people who are suffering, who are in misery, and Mudita, feeling happy in the company of people who possess virtues, who are virtuous, who are good people basically. These ideas, these kind of bhavanatah, this has to be inculcated. So when we inculcate over a period of time, when we make this our second nature, then we always have chitta prasadanam. Our chitta, our mind gets peaceful, because there is nothing to create turmoil in our mind. There is nothing to disturb our mind because we are at peace. So the bad qualities like envy, hurt, anger, and then greed, lust, egotism, all these qualities will go away when we try to connect with the other person. When we try to connect with the other person. So here the key element is connecting with the other person, not finding any scope for disturbing our mind because of the other person. And that is why this sutra has been variously termed as the path to a peaceful life. Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, the consort of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, of course, we know who was the guru of Swami Vivekananda. Holy Mother, Sri Sarada Devi, she said that in this world, no one is your stranger. So if you need peace, do not find fault with others. Find instead your own faults. And no one is a stranger in this world. Everyone is your own. So that is the way to find peace. If you want to find peace, in fact, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi was just putting it in a different language, the same message which Patanjali had given thousands of years ago, millennia ago. So if you want to find peace, it is better to become one with the other, the person whom we try to find differences with. The idea of peace or the experience of peace comes only when we unite with the other person, when we become one with the other person. And that's why infants and children, they are able to be more peaceful than adults because they have not yet discovered or understood causes for finding difference with the other person. When a person gets educated or so-called education, a person is trained and given different tools to find differences with the other, and so the person's misery increases. So the goal is to be one with the other, to have the feeling of sahanubhuti, and that would be a great message to imbibe on this occasion when we are celebrating the Yoga Week under the aegis of United Consciousness International. And I am grateful that United Consciousness International has invited me for this event. And I believe that more and more people would imbibe the holistic wisdom of yoga, not just the physical aspect, but also the psychological and the intellectual, and also uppermost the spiritual aspect of yoga. The spiritual aspect being to go beyond all kinds of suffering by controlling thoughts in the mind. That is the goal of yoga, as Maharshi Patanjali says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So all the vrittis, or the disturbances, thoughts in the mind, have to be restrained, nirodha. And once that happens completely, one attains to the state of yoga, which is a state which we need to attain, which we need to have to live in this world. I am reminded of Swami Ranganathanandaji's statement that just like our body, physical body, has what is called homeostasis. In warm-blooded people, human beings are warm-blooded animals. So when we have cold outside, when the weather is cold, we shiver, producing warmth. Similarly, when the weather is hot, we sweat, producing cold. So we maintain a minimum set of optimum temperature and other conditions in our body, and that is called homeostasis. So our mind should also have similar homeostasis. And I hope this United Consciousness International's effort at celebrating Yoga Week would enable many of us to attain that state. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much, respected Swamiji. And the attitude you talked about of Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, and Upeksha, as you mentioned, that it brings sahanubhuti, and the result of this is chitta prasadanam. I'm sure the message will reach to the audience, and they will inculcate this attitude in themselves to create a better world. Thank you very much, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Swami Narsimhananda for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.